Hello everyone, Manny here, and today we're going to be talking about the Scrapper Perk. So this was brought to light by a corporation member, Alex Trev. Again, thanks a lot, man. You do a lot of footwork. You come up with a lot of great concepts. You had the gunner farm that you guys can see behind me. I don't necessarily say it was your idea, but you did refine it quite well, so I have to give you a lot of props on that. And that kind of what brings us out here. If you guys notice, this is our loot crates from the gunner tutorial. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's an easy way to make a lot of survival mode experience. It's also an easy way to make a whole bunch of caps, but this time we want to check on Scrapper. So what first we want to do, we're going to go ahead and look at the wiki, see what kind of information we can get from there, and then I'm going to actually go through with these two crates you see here, because they're kind of static. I kind of got a feeling of what you're going to get from weapons, but I'm really interested to see what you get from armor. So check out the wiki, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, let's get some facts from the wiki. So the perk has no effect on the amount of materials received from the base weapon. It only increases the yield from modified weapons. So basically, if you're out there scrapping basic pipe rifles, you're only going to get steel, and I believe a little bit of wood. But if the pipe rifle was equipped with like a sight or a suppressor or a stabilizing rack, then you would be able to get things like screws. What it says is certain mods and prefixes indicate whether some components may be scrapped from them while other components are linked to the base weapon. For instance, weapons with the muzzled or silenced prefix will nearly always yield aluminum or aluminium, however you want to say it, though the quantity depends on the base weapon. While wood and copper are tied to the base weapon, double barrel and combat shotguns and hunting rifles in the case of wood, and pipe weapons for copper. Pipe weapons for copper, with the modification determining the quantity. Unlike other resources, wood is often present with less technical mods, with the short versions often providing the most. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's a lot of good information on the wiki, but really the biggest things I wanted to note is that the highlighting effect from rank 2 applies to junk and containers, but you can pretty much control that, because I really don't like the highlighted effect. It kind of breaks my immersion a little bit. And down here where it says rank 3 doubles the amount of uncommon materials recovered: aluminum, copper, cork, fiberglass, gear, glass, lead, screws, and springs. Now it kind of got me thinking about survival mode and how you need a lot of junk, but then at the same time it's hard to kind of get around. You see more enemies than you do shops and vendors, and then the shops and vendors are always like way out of the way, so that gives you a lot of extra travel. Alright, so now let's check it out in the real world and see actually what can we get from this. Alright, so what we have here are two pipe pistols. One basic pipe pistol and one pipe pistol outfitted to the maximum. Now, if we go inside and we try to scrap them without the Scrapper Perk, we'll only get 4 steel for the regular, and for the upgraded we only get steel, wood, and plastic. And I believe that's because there's so many upgrades on the rifle, it had to give you a little something extra. But I mean, 4 steel honestly seems better than a piece of wood and plastic. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab us a rank of Scrapper. Alright, so we're Scrapper rank 1 now. Now if we come in and scrap, we still get 4 steel for this one, but look at all that good stuff we get now. And what I believe it is that each modification that you give the weapon gives you a piece back. Maybe actually a few pieces back, because let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 modifications. Actually, that's about right. Like, you got everything that came with it before, but then at least 1 item of scrap from each modification. Alright, so now what we're gonna do, of course, we're gonna go to Scrapper rank 2 and see what happens. Now, what I'm wondering is, will we get anything different from the recon, considering that it's not that advanced? And we did. I mean, we got a lot of stuff from that. Wow. And then it's the same thing with this. So basically the wiki was right. Non-upgraded weapons really aren't worth scrapping, but like fully upgraded weapons like you tend to find later in the game, I mean, look at all that good stuff. Silver, nuclear materials, crystals, and plastics. So I just kind of wanted to add this in just so that we kind of knew exactly how it worked. Now we're going to go back to the gunner crates and see what happens when you do Scrapper rank 3. Right, and here we go. We get to take a look at our labors of love from our gunner factory. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a gunner factory. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what happens if we don't have the perk. We just pretty much get steel. Clothing gives nothing. Yeah, so all your combat armor is going to give steel. Leather for leather chest piece. Let's see. Plasma rifle gives plastic and 11 steel, 10 steel, 10 steel, 4 steel and rubber. Really? Man, the thing's kind of heavy for only 4 steel. 6 plastic, and you know, yada yada yada. Just a bunch of garbage. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rank 1 in this. So it's gonna take intelligence 5. Alright, so waste not, want not. You can salvage uncommon components like screws, aluminum, and copper. Right, let's see what we get. Oh, look at that. So we got 1 spring, 4 screws. That's pretty good. And then look, we got 3 screws. So, alright. Unfortunately, the armor still isn't giving us anything but steel. So maybe that's how it works. Hold on, there's a piece of... Yeah, that's heavy. I guess maybe if it was like shadowed combat armor or something like that, it probably would give us something. But right now, I don't think we're getting anything. Alright, so that's rank 2. Wow, that's pretty good. So it seems like the more modified the weapon is, because what is this? This is an automatic assault rifle. It's not really that modified. Alright, let's try the next rank. Alright, so rank 2 says you can salvage rare components like circuitry, nuclear materials, fiber optics when scrapping weapons and armor. Items with favorite components are highlighted. Alright, so that seems pretty cool, pretty straightforward. Let's see what kind of differences we get. I guess this will be our test subject. Not really much different. Not much. But I'm guessing it depends on how heavily modified the equipment is. Yeah, not much. Not much. But for a short assault rifle versus an automatic, wow, we get more for the automatic. That's pretty cool. So that's where it is. Things that are heavily modified. I'm guessing that it's getting that stuff from the scope. And look, we're getting plastics, steel, screws. So you get a little bit more, but you really don't get a lot. Now I kind of want to see what the 3rd rank looks like, because at this point I kind of would rather just sell all this stuff and make all that money we made in the last video, but let's see if we can change that. Alright, so here's the big one. This is the 3rd rank. It was just introduced in the Far Harbor DLC, so I do believe you have to have Far Harbor in order to get this. But you get more from salvaging. Now, I want to see how much more you get from salvaging, because at this point, it really didn't seem like it was all that worth it. Alright, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Considering that you would buy a shipment of 25, that's a lot. If only for the 9 screws. I remember just recently in Far Harbor, Survival Diaries, I was like seriously looking for screws to build the weapons workstations. Look at that, man. Still nothing on these body pieces. Let's check the shadowed. Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it to scrap the armor pieces, but honestly the armor pieces are what sells. I mean, the weapons sell too, but then at the same time, that's a lot of scrap, man. That's a lot of screws. That's a lot of springs. Let me rephrase that. It's a lot of valuable scrap. They could have put some more circuitry in there, at least like 2 circuitry. I'm a little upset about that, but like, that's scrap you're gonna need. Now, it being rank 40, I don't know about how useful it is, considering you probably are gonna want caps in the very early stages and in the medium stages, and by the time you get to rank 40, you kind of got your system set up. So I'm not really too sure how useful it is, but I can tell you that it gives a lot of premium scrap. And hey man, with the fast traveling restrictions and survival mode, I kind of think that that's pretty much what we need. But what do you guys think? Make sure you put what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.